And we're back.
Yeah, boy, we are back. After surviving Dorian and work and everything under the sun that they could possibly throw at us, we have finally returned.
Spoiler alert, everybody is dead.
Yeah.
We're all dead. Not really.
And you're hearing a pre-recording.
Yeah, if you're hearing this message, we have all died. Our massive follower base of 12 subscriptions has been utterly devastated.
See, I couldn't give you a straight face when you said that either. So, now that we're back, we've got a great show for you guys today. And to start it off, as always, I'm Zach, your host, and with me
is Josh.
As always. Plain and simple. Nothing too flashy for the rest of us. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into our new segment. You know what it is. I know what it is. He knows what it is. It's now time for Fragments. So I'm going to actually hand it off to you first. I think you've got some pretty good news coming up.
Yeah, so for the comic world, for you boys out there, you snuggly little nerds just like me, knee deep into some statuesque drawings of people in spandex fighting people, written by arguably good writers, sometimes not.
I love how you said arguably.
No,
that guy gonna suck.
I know, right? God. No, I'm joking. Excuse me. So big news, Spawn 301 is either out or is about to be out. By the time you hear this, I think it'll be out. And that will be actually a Guinness World Record holder for the only creator-owned comic to hit 301. So Todd McFarlane was celebrating 300 because he was talking to the publishers about it. Because to them, that's like the big number, because 300, we all kind of identify with that.
Yeah.
But Todd McFarlane being along the same lines of like people in baseball and stuff, you know, they don't round. Once you're a person who has hit more home runs than, say, you know, like Mark McGwire or something, like that ball, number 3, whatever, is like that is the record ball. And so obvious to him, 301, 301 is that record holding comic, technically.
Right.
So, you know, that is the one that breaks 300, because there was another comic that hit 300. And so that's where it ended. It ended in 300. So
right.
So not to be long-winded about it, but that's coming out. Be on the lookout for it. It's supposed to be spicy. It's supposed to be real good.
See, that to me is fascinating. Someone actually, you know, I know there's a crew working on it, but like just the idea of having 301 issues of your character, all the different stories that branch off, and I think that's, to me, I feel like that's really fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, his own in-house character. It's not one of the big two. It's not DC or Marvel. It is he, you know, I mean, like, he broke off from Marvel and started his own business. I mean, he's just a very just super terribly interesting man to listen to talk, because he's all about pushing the boundaries and not being afraid to you know, like, to give the bird to the big boys who are trying to beat you up and stuff.
Right.
And so, but yeah, so that's coming out. What is it? Talking about the big two. Doomsday Clock is about to wrap up. The final issue is coming out. It's supposed to be insane. And the last wrap up from the last comic, kind of keying you in on what's going on, you know, is just this crazy thing. So be on the lookout for that coming out.
Has it been a good series so far? I haven't really read into it too much.
In the beginning, I was very hit and miss, because I mean, I'm a little sad that I feel like I can't get into it because there's spoilers I want to talk about. I don't want to throw that out there for people listening. But yeah, that's it was great. It was pretty good. It's gonna be hard. It's hard on people like even like me, who traditionally like really did not want the Watchmen involved in the DC universe, because the Watchmen universe is so grounded in reality. You know, like, I mean, if you think about it, out of the Watchmen roster, there's only one person who's truly superpowered, and that's Dr. Manhattan. And so then you have everybody else who are interested in their own specific ways. But then, yeah, it was good either way. And so, I hear you have a little bit of news.
Yeah, just a little bit on my end. So, as we all know, D23 has just ended. If you're not familiar with D23, that is the Disney convention that is to release like new additions to the theme parks, to the Disney franchises, new movies or shows, or more importantly, their streaming service, Disney Plus.
It's the giant, megalithic, consumerism, evil, corporate destruction of your little minds. Mickey Mouse isn't your friend.
Wow.
Mickey Mouse is here for your money.
You know what? I need to stop bringing Disney into your realm, because you twist it in such an awful way. You take magic and turn it into sorcery.
I mean, if we're gonna get biblical here.
I mean,
if we're gonna get, I'm just kidding. I was joking.
I mean, Lord have mercy, jeez. No, but that. So if you're not
corporate death pigs,
my
financially
God.
seeking to eat you like the little piggies you are. Run, little piggies. I'm sorry.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that, and I'm sitting right next to you. That was very awkward. But so to pick up where I left off. So if you guys are not familiar with D23, or not D23, but Disney Plus rather, it's a streaming service coming out on November 20th. I am so sorry, November 12th. On November 12th, Disney Plus will be released. It is allowing you to watch all the Disney movies that have ever been created, stuff that's also been from the archive. They also got new Disney shows and movies that are original to
The Mandalorian,
which comes into some of their branch features, which is Star Wars and Marvel. Star Wars, like Josh has said, The Mandalorian, among an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie.
Is it a movie or is it going to be a show?
They think it might be a show, because they said they want to deal with the stronger underbelly of things with drugs. And
I think that's a very interesting thing too, because you're dealing with, like, if you have like Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's generally like very, very positive, very good. He's very
seeing him in a different light.
Yeah, he's the utmost. Like he's well, it's not even necessarily seeing him in a different light, but he's been fighting for like truth and justice in the Jedi way for for so long, and like he's had to deal with this, but we don't see it.
Yeah.
But now it's like the Jedi don't exist, and he is literally like order embodied in this person. So like it's like interesting to see him in a perspective where he's like his what would you call it? His characteristics and his personality of being a good law-abiding under the like he is basically like, it's just interesting to see him outnumbered because he's squeaky clean and he's going to be in an environment that's.
It's funny that they don't incorporate some of his older stories, like when he was still being trained under Qui-Gon, because he wasn't always the Boy Scout that he seems to be, which he never really was, but
right. Like I'm not saying he was a Boy Scout necessarily, but it's like you knew in the end of the day that he was doing those things for the right reason, and he's going to be surrounded by people who are only doing things for selfish reasons.
Right. I mean, the man left the Jedi Order as a Padawan because he fell in love, and I mean I know it's like not that heinous of a crime, but for someone who is the way he is now in the movies, it's kind of a step up from nothing, or what seems to be nothing.
Right.
But in any case, so Disney Plus is coming out, which is great. On the Marvel side, you got a bunch of new shows that are coming out, ranging from
Falcon and
the Winter Soldier, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. Unfortunately, and this is my downside to that news, was that it was confirmed that Robert Downey Jr. will be returning as Tony Stark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But unfortunately, and yes, I'm going to say unfortunately, and I'm going to give you a reason why on this. He's returning to be from what they're speculating, is the AI for Riri Williams, or AKA Ironheart. Let me explain why I'm not a fan of this. Now, this is very controversial because right now a lot of the Marvel fans are torn, and that's because some disagree with it because, or say they disagree with it because she's black, and others say she can't replace Tony Stark. She's not supposed to be smarter than Tony Stark, and it's like those are all very weak arguments. They're very, very, very weak, and the reason is, for me, why I don't like it was because my man Tony died at the end of Endgame, and I'm sorry if you haven't seen the movie, that's your fault. But at this point in time, you should have already seen it or seen a meme of it or something. But the man died in an epic way, and you're gonna tell me that your automatic go-to now to replace him is Riri Williams? Like, to me, her character was never written well. I don't care that she's black. I don't care that she's super smart. I care because her story is awful. It's terrible. It was so her build-up story was so put through the garbage chute so fast. Like, no one got a chance to meet her and understand her. But like, the reason why Miles worked is that Miles came from basically nothing. It was just he followed the Spider-Man path of getting to he gets bit by a spider, which I know that's a weak point. Like, some random guy got bit by a radioactive spider again. Like, wow, what are the odds of that? Well, that's fine.
And they actually explain that.
And they do
in that book.
But with Riri, it's like she went to MIT. She dropped out because she didn't like it because they didn't understand her, or she didn't like it there anymore because it wasn't challenging enough for her. And she loved Iron Man, she loved Tony Stark, and she used scrap metal from her school and from his old armors to build her own. I'm like, that people argue Mary Sue. I just argue you're a fangirl. You're a fangirl who just became a hero, and that's not okay with me. You can't take the mantle. I don't care if you're being called something else. Pepper was given the name Rescue when Tony made her an armor.
The thing that bothers you the most about all of this, and I don't want to speak on the story because I haven't looked into it. But like, it's like you've already built up Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he have the Tony AI?
I mean, that's my argument especially for the MCU. They already said that Peter wants to be a better. I mean, not just him saying that, but like even Happy said he wants you to be better than he was.
By the way, if you're talking about better than Tony, and you're speaking on like emotional terms and decision making, he's already like a lot better.
Well, anyway, we're not gonna get into that. I
mean, how many villains did Spider-Man create? Yeah.
Spider-Man villains.
Yeah. How many did he like single-handedly create?
Okay.
On his own.
I mean, he didn't create Loki. He created Ultron. And that's the only thing he gets faulted for is Ultron. That's the biggest one he gets faulted for. And his intentions. We had this discussion last time. We literally had this discussion last time. We said that Tony built. My argument was that he built Ultron to help protect the world because the heroes can't be everywhere at one time. The intentions were good. It just didn't follow through good.
Let's take this Infinity Stone that we know nothing about because I'm not from space.
It made Vision, and Vision turned out fine.
On accident, but
still. If it was a way to better the world.
What does Donald Trump say?
You're really gonna quote Donald Trump on here?
Wrong. Fake news.
Democrats are terrible. See, we're gonna give you mixed messages. We're not gonna tell you our political beliefs. Not gonna say a thing. He only quoted it. I didn't say nothing to it, so mystery. No, we're not gonna talk about politics on here. If we can help it, we're not gonna talk politics on here.
Yeah.
That's anyway. So that's pretty much. My last piece, and this is, I guess, bittersweet news, I guess, for you, but they've talked about that Paul Rudd is not going to get an Ant-Man 3.
No.
But instead, they're going to give him a show on Disney Plus.
No!
Why is that so challenging for you? It was fine. It seems to be fine. He's going to get a longer series. You'll see more of him. You don't have to wait a whole year or so for a movie. It's not terrible. You means you get to see the Watch more.
Remember what I said. They own it. They own it all.
Yes.
Run, little piggies, run.
Oh
They own
God.
it all.
You are ridiculous.
All your hopes and dreams bought.
This is like when you were just telling
They
me.
purchased it.
You think they're evil for letting people work on Christmas.
We're getting into this.
We are going to get into this because you brought this
You're
up.
pointing fingers at me.
I'm pointing fingers at you.
You're going to Disney
Yes.
on Christmas.
Yes, but not to the Magic Kingdom, though.
You're still going.
I'm still going, but...
And these people
are working on
who
Christmas.
live in America
Are working on Christmas.
are working on Christmas.
But, and here's the but.
You know what? No.
They don't stay there the whole day.
Wrong.
They're not there the whole day.
Bob Iger, you are Scrooge McDuck.
There are 4
Live
shifts.
with that.
There are 4
I
shifts.
don't give.
Not everyone's going to be there for a whole day.
I don't give a flying falafel how many shifts there are. There could be
The
10
fact that you
shifts.
use falafel, the fact that you bring chickpeas into this is disgusting.
No, you know what's disgusting?
What?
The Disney train of purchasing your hopes and dreams and commercializing it like a cheap whore.
You know, you're putting...
Why would they do The Lion King again?
Well,
I don't care about Beyonce. She was not a good novel.
Hollywood is unoriginal already. We're just going to throw that out there because you know what it is? I'm going to quote something from a show called The West Wing. It's not about because they bring up a very good point when it comes to these movies. It's not about that a movie is like when people don't like a movie because it's got gratuitous violence and gratuitous sex. It has nothing to do with that. It's because people like to go see terrible movies. If you can get people to stop watching terrible movies, or in this case, having people go see remakes of movies they've already seen, then you will change the identity of Hollywood. That's just the way it works. If you change the belief system, it doesn't matter if it has gratuitous sex and gratuitous violence or gratuitous remakes. If you change the dynamic and you stop going to see those movies, they're not going to make them anymore.
Here's my thing about remakes, though. I feel like remakes should only be made if they think that they can take a concept that originally existed and make it better, because there was a lot of times, obviously, excuse me, producers get in the way a lot. And so producers will stonewall something and make you do something within the movie.
Yes.
That is to their benefit and not to the benefit of the movie, and therefore can damage it severely, right?
Okay.
And so let's say like RoboCop, for instance. The first movie, fantastic. It's low budget. He kills a lot of people. And the story is really straightforward and good. You feel bad for Alex Murphy. RoboCop 2. Not as good as OG RoboCop.
Sure.
Still pretty good.
Okay.
RoboCop 3. They didn't even manage to get the original actor for RoboCop 3 because the script and the need for merchandising got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So if they remade RoboCop and they used the same concept, same costume, and tried to build the same dystopian world that he would have lived in, which is just basically Detroit, because it is Detroit.
Yeah.
But just worse Detroit, which I'm not sure is possible.
I don't think it was ever possible. But anyway.
And they were like, they do the movie as it was originally intended, without the constraints of like producers and stuff like that.
Right.
Ruining it so much. That would be great. But I agree with you as far as the reboots and all that stuff. There's only one reboot that I'm really loving right now, and that is Jay and Silent Bob the reboot, because it's making fun of reboots.
I mean, well, see, that's I think that's where you draw the line, is when you're doing a parody movie, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different to the sense of like you're making fun of the trope and
right. Well, Jay and Silent Bob are characters that have existed since the 90s,
yes.
and they're just basically, this is just a sequel, but they're the comic characters that they were made based off of them in that canon, in that View Askew-averse. I guess the concept of that movie is that they're being made again.
Yeah.
They're having a movie made again, a reboot of them, of their characters, and I just think that's so meta almost. Like you're a continuation of your own characters.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're dealing with the concept of shitty reboots,
Yes.
and they're going to go stop it. Like that's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Kevin Smith,
I mean, honestly,
I love you. Please come visit our podcast one day. We're in a small room inside of a house in whatever state we live in. But if you DM me, that'd be like super dope as fuck.
And you'll have to give him that on the plugins at the very end, so that way he knows who to go to.
Yeah.
And we'll make it happen. We will make it happen. By the way, my last little bit of news for our anime fans out there. My Hero Academia.
Disney owns you.
Stop it. Shut up. Shut up. God, Disney, bad, evil. That's what it is. You want to talk about reboot? You are a reboot. You're a self-reboot.
What? No. Stop. Stop you while you're at.
Anyway, so my anime fans out there, the season 4 of My Hero Academia is coming to Crunchyroll on October 12th. It'll be sooner if you don't mind the...
Wait, so Funimation...
What about Funimation?
Does Funimation have it also dropping at the same time?
I don't know. I don't know if they have the rights to it or not. But I know it's going to go on Crunchyroll on October 12th because it just got confirmed for that date.
Sweet.
But I don't know. They said that's when it was going to stream. I don't know if that's for the dub or the sub.
Oh, because I think it's for the dub also.
I watch both of them, but I have noticed that both of them do have better lines depending on. Like I know the when Midoriya fights Muscular.
Oh yeah.
There's a difference in the lines, and honestly, I like the Japanese version a lot better because the subtitle for it is as if I would let you kill him, whereas the English voice actor says something on the lines of I'm a hero, I'm not gonna let you do that. And it's like I feel like there's more of an emotional impact when you say as if I would let you kill him as he's getting crushed underneath the strength.
I wonder if it's a censor issue in the United States.
Maybe. If that's the case, then the FCC sucks. But then again, they're what's allowing things to go on the air right now anyway, so I can't complain too much. Sorry. But with that being said, that was pretty good. That's all been good. You've all been informed now. So I think it's time we get to our main segment. So our title not really a title, but our segment for today is. Because we were just talking about Marvel just within our Fragments segment in D23, we're going to discuss who we think, between the heroes and the villains of the Marvel Universe, who we think deserve a little screen time, whether in their own movie or just to be seen in a show or movie. So, do you want to kick us off, Josh? Who do you think and why? Why is it a big point thing? We can always just say who.
Sorry.
You're going to get really intense.
Yeah, really. Well, they have already announced Moon Knight, and that's someone I really wanted to see. I really want to see Moon Knight. But I don't agree with the platform because Moon Knight's typically extremely violent. And so...
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about this, and we were talking about this while we were getting food earlier. So The Dark Knight is intimidating, right? Those movies...
Yes.
They're very nerve-wracking. Or they really make it nerve-wracking.
Sure.
And that's because a lot of the violence is insinuated, and we know that Joker's a murderer, but they don't ever really show it on screen. They show him about to do it, and the aftermath of doing it, or whatever.
But never the act of doing it.
He's like literally doing it, and then they cut away from the actual where the blood and gore would be visible, and it's just done really well. All of the insinuated murder and stuff like that.
Actually, not since The Dark Knight, the recent movie, where Batman and Superman are a lot older, or Batman's really old. I think it was like, what is it, The Dark Knight Returns, and like you see an older Joker literally kill a whole studio audience.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's when you actually get that's a recent example, but in the past you don't see it.
Which is insane when you think about it, right? You remembered that from that cartoon, which is the animation of those comics,
yes.
The Dark Knight Returns. And I did not. But I remembered all of the times Heath Ledger's Joker was literally taking his blade and like cutting open these people's mouths, you know?
Yeah.
And you didn't see it, but I remember that. So maybe that's just a testament to how good of a director Christopher Nolan is. So with that in mind, if they were able to capture that same darkness and still keep it PG-13, that would work for me. Because I know that Disney wants to keep it like PG-13 for their Disney Plus stuff.
Right.
And Moon Knight's just a typically violent character. He literally beats people.
And dealing with 4 different personalities.
I wonder how in-depth they're going to get with that. I didn't really like that concept of Moon Knight, to be honest. I think
it's interesting, though. I mean, because I always liked it because there's like a series, obviously, because you say he brutally hurts people, sometimes, you know, kills them.
Yeah.
But but for me, it's like you seeing that portion of it. The only portion I've really seen of Moon Knight was in a comic where I think like Dr. Doom like had like godlike powers, and like I think he just killed Thanos or whatever, and they were coming up with a plan to stop Doom. Either that or Doom was with him. I don't remember the details of the comic, but while the plan was being said, Moon Knight came in and was looking at Spider-Man and was like, I have no idea what's going on, and Spider-Man just whispers to him, it's like, don't worry, I'll tell you afterwards. And I was like, oh my god, like they're talking about a life or death world-ending situation, and
that's so sad.
Moon Knight completely zoned out entirely.
That's so sad.
And that's the funny part of it. That's what I like about it, because it's like, but I feel like, but I see what you mean though, because I feel like doesn't that kind of encroach on what Deadpool does?
I wouldn't say that. I just think that makes it's like what makes the Red Hood, to me at least, more interesting than Batman. Batman will brutally beat someone and break their arm and stuff like that.
Yes.
But like Red Hood deeply, intentionally will kill you. He will beat you silly, and then he'll put a bullet in your head. I mean, I was literally playing the Arkham Knight Red Hood story again recently, just because it's really good.
It is good.
But like, that's the thing with, I think, makes Moon Knight so much more different than Batman. Obviously, is that he's willing to kill. Like he's almost like the antithesis of Batman. And I really like that. And so I think it was the opportunity for them to take the concept of Batman and his vigilante and his code and stuff, and just strike it, and just no, Moon Knight is a killer. He will, blah blah blah. I just thought it would have been really interesting for them to do that. I think.
Sure.
And I think part of that is the intentionality. I don't need him like waking up and being like, "Oh my God, did I kill those people?"
Yeah.
Well, no. I want him to be a brooding character, a grimmer character, and that only works, I feel like, if you're intentionally that way.
I mean, let's just hope he doesn't end up like the Cloak.
Oh.
Yeah, they got really depressing on that one, didn't they? Let's see. I've got one. I want to see the real Mandarin.
Ooh, with those 10 rings.
I'm not gonna lie, I was very disappointed in Iron Man 3.
I am the Mandarin, and I'm going to destroy Disney and the commercialism.
That was actually pretty good, because you sound like it showed like he was. But no, anyway, so with the real Mandarin, I want to see the real deal. Like I want him to be like, I made fun of him in Iron Man 3, but yet.
And like if he comes back and is like, what is this joke of a character that...
Like, you've made fun of me, like I will end your existence kind of deal.
Yeah. Do you imagine, like, the first 10 minutes of that movie, of whatever movie he'll debut in?
He just disintegrates him.
And he disintegrates the fake Mandarin?
Yes.
I was just playing the role of the Mandarin. Bing!
Quiet yourself, fake. But, no, I've always liked that villain, because I think that was a really good, I know it was an Iron Man villain, but...
Yeah, see, that's what's upsetting about it, too, is
but I think they can make it work, though. I really...
What character could they...
I think they're not doing enough for Morgan. Because Pepper... They've already kind of hinted towards Pepper takes over as Rescue in her own armor and helps out when Tony's gone. That's in the news comic. Well, not really the news comic, but that's in like the Ironheart continuity where Mary Jane started working for him and Tony's supposedly gone, dead, whatever the case may be.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah,
the new stuff.
Despite going into the Ironheart thing, I just feel like if Rescue is out there, the Iron Patriot / War Machine is doing his thing. He's still out there, so you still got the Iron family out there. But then there's always like, if you're talking about the MCU though, you've got his daughter Morgan. Morgan could grow up and get her own little suit of armor and follow in her father's footsteps. She'd probably be really smart too. I'm just saying that there's an opening, and not to mention Peter with his, which granted I know now we're coming into Sony territory now, and
it'll get resolved. 100%.
I hope so. I think so.
I think they're gonna do like one movie where it's separate, and they're gonna realize the backlash and they're gonna put them back together.
Yeah, I feel so.
But I'm on Sony's side with this anyway.
Because you hate Disney with a burning passion, because you think they're evil cows.
Disney.
No, you. I mean,
I hate the financial strong arming of Disney is pretty rude.
Okay, it is. I'll give you that because I'm tired of paying high prices.
I would feel different if Marvel was on its own two feet, and they were being mean to Sony.
Right. I mean,
but now
their streaming service is cheaper than a freaking Coca-Cola and a pretzel at one of the theme parks. But that's neither here or there.
Oh, that is insane! It is true. Oh my god.
I mean, for right now, because it's $6.99 when it comes out, but I think they're going to go up to. I feel like they're going to raise the price after the first year, but for now it's $6.99. But yes, considering a bottle of water is like $2 to $3, sometimes $4, depending.
And then a pretzel's like $5.
Yeah,
and so it's like less than the size of your palm or whatever.
So you do once a month and get a streaming service.
What's a Disney pretzel?
So trust me, I understand that the pricing is wrong, and I know there's a lot of people that back me up on this. That the corporate part of Disney, like we love. And honestly, you pointed fingers at me about going during Christmas time. You're gonna go the same time as me, so I don't want to hear crap from you.
I'm going to Florida.
Shut up. Anyway, back on our topic at hand. So, who's your next character?
Well, they just bought him.
Did they?
Yeah, because of the giant arms of Disney. But
you're gonna keep referencing negative shit.
Oh yeah.
God damn it! I knew it.
Run, little piggies.
You stop with the piggies. There is no piggies.
Silver Surfer. This is sad because Stan Lee. I read a report like 2 or 3 years ago that Stan Lee wanted to see his favorite character, his Joy. Everyone's like, and this makes me so mad. But everyone's like, Stan Lee, his favorite character was obviously Spider-Man. It was obviously whatever. That's not true. Stan Lee's actual deep favorite character that he would not, like, he was very selective on who wrote it. It's why his character has very little, he has like a couple series under his like belt. Because Stan Lee was just so nitpicky about who could draw, who could write. His character was the Silver Surfer. He wanted to see the Silver Surfer on screen done properly.
Sure.
Before he died. So this is your fault, Disney.
Okay. Why didn't Fox step up? They still had the rights to him. Why didn't they make a movie themselves?
Yeah, that's their fault too.
Exactly. See, you want to blame Disney for everything, but I know. Look, I've agreed with you. I've met you halfway on the pricing and their corporate strong arming. I can meet you halfway on that. But you got to meet me halfway on something when it comes to, what Disney does for other people. I know it's not all glorious, but I know for a good portion of it, they bring a certain, escape to a certain degree, to where you go to their theme parks. You don't see the highways. You don't see the hustle and bustle of the city and stuff like that you see on a normal day basis. It takes you out of the world a little bit. It gives you a moment to kind of just, what you see around you is what is around you. For
the family-friendly price of just under $200.
Okay, you know what? You were never satisfied. You were just not happy.
Well, I just feel like, correction. I would be happy if Walt Disney came from his grave as a weird zombie.
So would I.
And just started eating all of the current people's brains.
It's because he
started taking control.
I think that was the biggest problem. There was no one to take on the Disney name. That was just all.
Yeah.
We need Michael Eisner back. Even Eisner fixed up a lot of the problems. He kept costs down at a reasonable price, and things were running smooth. Now it's just it's corporate this, corporate that.
I just feel like my issue is like the exclusivity that Disney tries to push when before it was supposed to be family friendly.
Yeah. Well, we gotta be careful because we're gonna get off track here too many times talking about Disney and their corporate themselves.
Right.
Don't want to we'll make that into another video altogether because I know that's my favorite. That's like my favorite phrasing. Like, we're gonna make a video of that.
Yeah, so Silver Surfer, I think there's a lot of... They've already built a pretty sizable cosmic half of the MCU.
Right.
They could get into Galactus. There's just... That we've already showed that we're not afraid to get into that territory, and Guardians of the Galaxy is a good vehicle for them to get into that territory. They've already hinted at Adam Warlock with the high... I don't know what that race is called. The high superior or something like that?
Something like that.
High evolutionary? So, whatever. But, yeah, those gold people that they straight up robbed in the second movie, like...
Yeah.
They were creating Adam Warlock, and he's a comrade of Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer, and so... I just think they need to have it. They need to do it, especially now that Stanley's dead. Like, they should, like, what if there's a movie dedicated to Stanley?
It should be the Silver Surfer.
That was his baby.
That's fair, and I guess why they associate. I'm only assuming, but I feel like they just associate Spider-Man with him for so much is because he made a superhero for the younger audiences that was like, wow, finally a kid that understands me. That's like, he's the nerdy, smart kid that gets bullied a lot, but he became something greater.
Right, but I would also argue that was mostly Steve Ditko.
Fine.
If you look at, actually it's interesting, a lot of people don't know this. If you look at the first drawing of Peter Parker and you look at a picture of young Steve Ditko, they look exactly the same.
Wow, that's interesting. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't. I read it the other day and I was like, whoa. Because Steve Ditko saw himself as a nerdy, unappreciative person.
Yeah, which, I mean, so was I at one point. I mean, I still am. I'm not going to even lie.
Damn. You're getting deep. Please, with your next character, sir.
Oh, of course, yes. Mine's a bit of a duo on this one. I would like to see Captain Britain and the Excalibur team.
And the Excalibur team.
Well, that was interesting.
Da.
Oh no, I would like to see them do more with them.
Yeah, I think the UK needs some representation
because they have a bit of a dynamic going right now with people kind of bringing in, like, you've got Black Panther who's repping Africa. You got Captain America who reps America, and you know, I feel like adding Captain Britain in there is a good nod to our brothers and sisters across the pond. And
yeah, that's a big ass pond.
It's massive pond, but anyway, but I don't know. I like the idea of it, of having all these, you know, the international superheroes kind of get a nod to them.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well at this point. Black Widow is Russian.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, I don't know if you ever heard this, but they actually said that arguably Captain Britain could actually beat Captain America in a fight because of the way he was, because of his powers.
Really?
Especially the more recent Captain Britain, what they're doing with him.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I read into that too, and it's like, yeah, they're saying he could technically beat Captain America in a hand-to-hand fight.
And this is the Captain Britain that's wearing, like, the entire, like, top to bottom costume of the British flag, right?
Of the Union Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Union Jack. Like, he's with the little eye holes.
Yeah.
I love that character. He's got, like, the utility belt with a bunch of... Because he's like a super spy. He's at see, if they want to do a spy flick in the vein of James Bond, but his costume is dope and totally nonsensical, because I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll make the giant flag.
Probably not, because they'll probably just stick with the classic, just the red Union Jack jumpsuit and just roll with that. But you could always do Citizen V.
I have no idea who that is.
It's technically it's technically a secret agent.
Oh,
but he's a Marvel hero. But you should look him up. He's really cool. He's got a whole thing behind him.
I think they'll do a spy flick. I don't think they'll do the Union Jack costume. I think they'll make the costume like a dark blue.
By the way, I don't know who all. And I mentioned them, but I don't know the names of every one of them. But the Excalibur team has like all the UK superheroes, and I think that counts for Spider-Man UK and Black Knight being a part of it.
Oh, the Black Knight is cool, but he's coming too.
He's coming too. He's being a part of the Disney Plus. He's going to get his own show, which is kind of cool.
I thought it was because he's going in with the Celestials. Like, he's tied to the Celestials.
He's tied to the Celestials, but they say they're going to give him a standalone as well.
Oh, this is the wrong Captain Britain.
Who are you thinking of?
I was thinking of, maybe his name is Union Jack.
I mean, they do have it. I mean, yeah, don't they have a character named Union Jack too? But no, in any case, I think he's a. Well.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what you're
what
thinking
his name. Yeah,
There you go.
This is Union Jack. He kind of. Oh, he's got a cool little action figure. Who would have known? Oh, and he's got a freaking revolver, just like the British. Actually, they use the Ralby revolver. That's awesome. That's a nice little attention.
Actually, I think his action figure came out with the Rescue and Mark 7 Iron Patriot, which they're calling the War Machine. But I won't go into details about that because, by the way, if anybody's confused by that, at the end of Endgame, the suit that Rhodey was in was not a War Machine armor. It was an Iron Patriot armor. So any toy that you see with that bulky armor and it's gray and black, it's wrong. The colors were an Air Force blue, a little bit of red, and a little bit of gray. That's what the colors were. I know it was really hard to tell because everything was destroyed and you get the black clouds and Thanos' army and crap like that, but that is what that whole thing was. And I've gotten, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting super angry about it because I was getting tired of seeing people make toys of like, oh, that's War Machine, that's War, like, no, it's Iron Patriot. It's really hard to tell, but that's what the colors are.
I would argue that it's War Machine and Iron Patriot armor. Because I don't think War Machine wanted the name Iron Patriot either. If you remember Iron Man 3, he was like, War Machine rocks. 1, 2, 3 or whatever.
Well, yeah, because Iron Patriot is what they went with because he
more
was like,
family friendly or whatever.
Well, then he's part of the U.S. Air Force, and it makes more sense to have him be more patriotic and not less of a Tony Stark agent, more of an America's.
Well, yeah, that's what they said in the movie. They were like, they thought Iron Patriot was more family friendly than the War Machine because when you think about
War Machine, it's like, oh god.
Like when I think of War Machine, I think of
devastation.
Arnold Schwarzenegger holding weapons that don't make sense. Right, that should be attached to like a vehicle, but he's holding them in his bare hands because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger and just blowing people up.
There needs to be I don't know why I thought about this, but there needs to be a Voltron-like machine that has every action hero from Arnold Schwarzenegger to Sylvester Stallone to, like, you see what I'm getting at? Like, just have,
so stupid.
Like the arms of Schwarzenegger, the
accent of Sylvester Stallone.
Sonic Blast.
No, I don't know. It would be. I feel like it would be like the arms and head of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. Who would? This makes no sense.
The head of Bruce Willis.
So basically, with that killer stare and single line delivery. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I was like, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Bruce Willis in Sin City, great role.
Yes.
God dang.
Fantastic.
The movie's so good.
What's your next character?
We've got, sorry, people. Thinking like a renewed X-Men would be good. But I don't want to sit on that too much. There's too much speculation.
No, I know. Here's the thing. I'll be frank with everyone, and I'll probably hear about it later. I have not liked one X-Men movie at all.
I want to change your mind.
I know you do. I want you to change my mind.
So many of them are not good.
Yes.
But there are 2, 3, 4 technically if you count the 2 Deadpools.
Yes.
Because he's an X-Men realm character.
Right.
Logan, which is about
an older version of him and
right.
Xavier, yeah.
And the prequel to that, which I mean it doesn't make sense because it came out first.
But that's what I'm saying, like Wolverine movies are different though. Anything involving Wolverine by himself or just mentioning some of the other guys, that's fine. I haven't seen a bad one of those. I'm saying Charles Xavier School of Mutants, of special people.
Okay. So I'll give it to you.
I know I'm saying that right, but still.
I'll give it to you. The first X-Men movie,
yes,
good.
Okay.
Because I mean, it is very 2000s but it is really good. They're very faithful to the world of X-Men. They're underappreciated because of mutant hate.
Sure.
Wolverine is like spot on, even though he's like too tall.
Yeah.
Guys, I want another tall Wolverine. Just to be honest, I liked 6 foot. What? Well, yeah, he just looks more imposing.
He does.
That's really good. X-Men 2. Nightcrawler really makes that movie. It's really good. Wolverine obviously makes that movie.
Did they introduce Mystique, or was she also in the first one?
No,
too?
she's in the first one.
Okay.
They go more. Mystique has more in this one. But yeah, X-Men 1 and 2 are pretty freaking good.
Okay.
X-Men 3, forget it happened.
Forget
it happened.
It's that bad.
X-Men First Class, very good.
Is that the one where Quicksilver rescues everybody?
Yes.
The first Quicksilver. And the mansion's blowing up.
That is actually the second reboot X-Men movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so X-Men First Class are really good. X-Men, what's the other one? Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
That is in the middle.
It's
They should have done that later because Days of Future Past is a very heavy topic in the X-Men world. And then Age of Apocalypse.
Was it that bad? I feel like because Apocalypse is such a heavy hitter. He's like a Thanos of the X-Men.
Yeah.
So it's like, you think there would be more behind that. And then, of course, now you've got Dark Phoenix.
Which I have not seen and I won't see. Which is basically killed X-Men.
The whole Phoenix thing is, I don't like the whole idea of like, oh, this is like a god of all mutants. Like,
is that what they're making it?
Well, no, that's what everyone kind of like, even if you don't know a lot about the X-Men or their comics or their story for that matter, someone somewhere is saying like, oh, you know, Phoenix is this dark entity that's like the godlike power of all mutants. Like, you don't, if you're a mutant,
that's
you
dumb.
Cower in fear of...
Yeah, that's dumb. I hate that. In the comics, the Phoenix Force was literally a cosmic entity. Like, the Phoenix Force belongs in the realm of like the Kree, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Silver Surfer, Galactus, Celestials, all that stuff. And the reason it's special in the X-Men is because Jean Grey is a very, very powerful telepath, and it decides to use Jean Grey as a host on Earth, and that's what makes it dangerous. Okay. I don't like that she's got like this hidden, the Phoenix Force, blah, blah, blah. No, the story is they go in space, they're doing X-Men stuff in space, and she gets hit with the, like, it just consumes her. And from that point on, that's where she gets like the fire abilities and stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's all. If they would have done that, that would have been awesome, because it's really tragic because Jean Grey is becoming evil because she's not really in control of herself. Right. And like Cyclops at the time was like trying to like put a ring on it, you know, Beyonce stuff.
That's another thing. Will we ever get a Cyclops? And I'm sure there has been one in the past. But can we get a Cyclops that's not a moody, broody jerk off that's like, I just want Jane. I just want Jane. Jane.
James Marsden as Cyclops in the first movie is really good.
Okay. I just feel like we get a whiny. It's like having a Hayden Christensen.
Oh, I know.
as Scott Summers.
The new Cyclops. That's the other thing that's sad, because they have a lot of good picks that would have been great to just carry over into the MCU. The new Cyclops in the new recent movies have been good. He's young. He's like he's just...
He had the coolest backstory to me. I felt like someone who doesn't get to see the world anymore unless he's looking through infrared eyes.
Yeah,
like that's a tragic story.
Yeah. And he's got like a brother. Like, there's so much about the Summers kids that are so interesting.
Right?
His dad is like operating in the Kree Empire, like, because he was picked up because he was a space explorer. His I think his mom is dead. His brother and him were like lost as young, like while they were young, they were like separated at a young age.
Yeah.
Like, there is a third brother that exists, who's like a massive cosmic entity, I think, because all of the Summers kids have like crazy mutant powers.
Go figure.
I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. Like, he's just so interesting because he really is like, the thing about Scott Summers, like, why is Wolverine cool? healing factor. He's lived like for a long time, kills a lot of people. He exudes cool.
Adamantium claws.
Adamantium claws, right? He's got this, like, he can't remember stuff well, blah, 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 but we know that he's been, like, fighting since the Civil War, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But what makes Cyclops cool is that he can't control his powers.
Right.
Right? But they're super, super devastating.
They really are.
Yeah. And, like, other than that, he doesn't have anything special. You shoot him, he dies. You beat him to a pulp, he'll be down.
It's all from his eyes.
Yeah, it's all from his eyes. But because he knew that he was the underdog in the mutant world, other than his optic blast, he knew that he was like the physical underdog. He trained and trained and trained and trained. He is that's something they don't do in the comics enough. But Scott Summers is a massively formidable martial artist. Like, he's not like Daredevil, or Daredevil has a lot of like martial arts from because he's learned how to be a ninja and stuff.
He's actually got good training.
Yeah, like what makes Cyclops different is he's a really good practical fighter. It'd be like one of those things where, like, if Daredevil is like Kung Fu and Muay Thai and the very acrobatic and dramatic, like, devastating stuff. Yeah. Scott Summers is like Krav Maga, which is like gritty Israeli self-defense, like John Wick level stuff. Like, he is taking people out, and because his primary weapon is his body and his optic blast. Well, like, Wolverine is a formidable fighter because he's been fighting forever, but Wolverine can run through a room and just stab everybody and just be fine.
So what you're saying is he's really the coup d'etat.
I hope. I hope that our listeners could actually hear the clock tick while I was that silent. What do you mean he's the coup d'etat?
No, I was gonna say coup de grace.
Why did you say coup d'etat first?
I don't know. It just sounded right. He can commit a coup d'etat, but he's the coup de grace.
Stop. I hope anybody listening to this that speaks French, please email how wrong Zach was on both attempts.
I know coup d'état
is what?
Is the act of, I don't know the text definition. I know it's like you're committing a coup d'état. It's like the overthrow of your government.
Right, it's a power change.
The coup de grace, I know, is like when you use it in a sentence, it's like, oh, you're the man of the hour, you're the man among men kind of deal. Like, you're the big shit on campus.
I think you're right. Yeah. In any event, you're a wrong mission.
I have butchered a cultural language.
Oh my god.
I'm very good at that.
Yeah, Cyclops is very interesting.
I think I only got two more left.
I've only got
So I'm gonna say mine real quick, and then I'm going to the next one. But the other one I wanted to see was, if anything, just to see him fight as a villain on the main screen, because I think with all of our abilities as well in Hollywood, with all this updated CGIs that make it look really, really good and not chintzy, if it's done right, is I want to see Fin Fang Foom.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Especially he should pair up with the Mandarin. I feel like they usually pair up well.
Well, actually, that would pair up very nicely if they both, like, if he summoned
Fin Fang Foom.
Yeah, if you just summon him from using the rings and all that, that would be really cool to do.
Yeah, like maybe that's the ultimate goal. See, this would have been amazing, because if you had Iron Man and you would have had him in. See, but here's the other thing that bothers me. I feel like they progressed Iron Man's armor too quick. If they would have kept it in the same realm as Iron Man 1, and then he had to use straight up suit technology, like this is metal around me, and I have to fight the Mandarin who has cosmic power, and then I have to fight this giant monster of Fin Fang Foom. Like,
ancient sorcery,
Yeah, like that would have been amazing.
It would, because he's built armor around cosmic energy and Asgardian.
Yeah, but it would have just been a nice little like this is technology.
Yeah.
Fighting the things I cannot understand, and like,
which would be really dope.
Yeah, and it was just, the imagery would have been great. I'm imagining him with like a torn up suit, and he's having like
Still
imagine
firing
him
repulsors at the manor who's blocking with like a cosmic shield or something
like imagine him like flying into the mouth of Fing Fang Foom and literally just unloading his entire payload.
Kind of like what he does in the comic in the very first issue.
Oh, I didn't read that, but that's so cool.
It does. It's really cool how he does it too. But you'll have to just read that because that's it. Which, by the way, that is another thing. His comic is actually, I believe, I don't think it's coming to an end, but I think it's they've dropped a bombshell and I can't talk about it because that's going to spoil it for everybody. Because I spoiled it for myself and I didn't want to do that. But I'm still going to read the issue and seeing how it does that. But apparently, I'm only going to say 2 words. Well, maybe 3 words if you're combining Iron Man. But Ultron armor. Ultron armor.
Interesting.
Right, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So you'll just have to read Tony Stark Iron Man comic series. It's on issue 16, which is the most recent one.
So behind. But no, my second, and they've already touched on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Is because he has like a cameo in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but is a proper Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. He needs to have a Harley.
Yes.
He needs like that's one thing they met. So the 2 movies that they made, not great. I would love to see Nicolas Cage in the role again. I thought he was fine.
Yeah.
I thought he was funny too. He brought like he brought this kind of like I'm the Ghost Rider. I have to deal with this, but I'm trying to make the best out of it. But then
we're not going to talk about the second. We're not going to talk about the second movie.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I think Nicolas Cage has gotten too much. I'm going to say it. He's gotten too much shit for his roles, and I don't think Nicolas Cage is a bad role.
Yeah, and I think he's
a bad guy.
I think he's trying to have fun, and that's not bad.
And I think that's good for the character because it's like when he's transformed, it doesn't matter. You don't see Nicolas Cage when he's in Ghost Rider form. You hear his subtleties of his voice, but mostly that's the Ghost Rider.
Which is so interesting because if you think about, I'm just gonna hit it.
Go ahead.
But like when they mixed that voice, they actually used Nicolas Cage's voice and the roars of a lion, and they mixed they used sound mixing to make his voice sound like super intimidating. Like I don't know, it's just super awesome. But yeah, I would love to see that. He needs to have a Harley, not this crazy weird bone chrome chopper. Like he should have just had, like in the comics, it's usually like a Harley. It's on fire and decaying and stuff. So like the aesthetic from the second movie where this Harley was like black and burnt and stuff, or his bike was black and burnt.
Yeah.
But that was a Yamaha. That wasn't a chopper either. Or that kind of it's kind of a cruiser. And I'm gonna get not to be motorcycle specific because I build motorcycles, but like that's not the aesthetic. That's a Japanese kind of super cruiser, and Ghost Rider always rode like American steel. And so to take that and just make this if they would have done a proper Ghost Rider, that would have been great. Even if he just shows up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's cool. It's funny because I was looking at it, and according to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Ghost Rider rides the same bike I do because I can tell from the tiny snippet, of the bike I can see it's a soft tail, and that's super cool. But that's what they need. He, in the show, he showed up on a Harley. It was on fire, and that's it. And he's a flaming skull.
Very, very on the nose. Very simplistic.
Yeah,
right to the name.
Drives a Dodge Charger. 69 Dodge Charger that's on fire, and it's kind of scary.
That's kind of cool.
And that's cool. But they didn't make some weird demo Charger. They didn't throw like skulls and whatever and all that stuff on it.
It's just black and on
fire. It's a black. Yeah, it's scary. It's got a big. I think I don't know if they do it in the show, but in the comics, it's got when he's got like a regular Charger.
It's intimidating.
And then when it turns into the Ghost Rider Charger, a big air intake blows out of the hood, so he's got this big blower intake.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's great. That's cool. It's like a nice subtlety. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. Maybe when Ghost Rider is driving, he has a chopper, and then when it turns in, he has a Harley or whatever, and he turns into Ghost Rider, maybe his pipes become more swept and curved, and they look scary, and there's points and stuff.
Sure.
That's fine. But doing this whole chained out. That was too much. I think it's too much.
See, and I think that brings me to, because since we're talking about people who play these Ghost Riders, we should definitely, and I'm dead serious about this too. Me and some of our buddies, I've talked to them about recasting in a lot of different movies, whether both in Star Wars, in upcoming movies that haven't been released yet, or a movie that doesn't exist yet, or a recasting of a certain character.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly enough, I know it's crazy, but we found out that a lot of good roles, especially in Marvel, would go very well with Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
And honestly, we all kind of said, and I know he's got probably a lot on his plate right now, but even I would be perfectly fine if they said, by the way, our next Ghost Rider is going to be Keanu Reeves. That would be the coolest thing in the world. I'm just saying, I think that'd be a really
he loves
dope.
motorcycles. Yeah, I was thinking either him or Norman Reedus from...
Norman Reedus even... Oh,
yeah, because they both love motorcycles.
Yes.
And they build them.
Both of them would be acceptable.
Good. So, yeah, Keanu Reeves would be great.
He probably uses his own bike, too.
Oh, dude, if he uses Arch motorcycle, I'd be fine with that. It does not really look chopper aesthetic like Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That would be so
He could remake his commercial where he's standing on top of the bike.
As he's a flaming skull.
As he lifts off the skull.
That's so amazing.
I love the idea.
That's cool. I think Norman Reedus, and I love Keanu Reeves, but I honestly think Norman Reedus would be a better fit because Norman Reedus seems very... Well, they're both super down to earth. Damn it.
See what I mean? But I mean, I see where Norman comes from because the way if he were to play,
I feel like he's more gruff. So
yes.
if I see Keanu Reeves out in the middle of nowhere,
yes,
like in the desert, and he's like waking up in the middle of the desert because he was Ghost Rider for over the night, and then he's like lost in the middle of the desert. I'm gonna be like, dang man, like look at this poor guy, like what the hell is he doing or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if I see Norman Reedus wake up in the middle of the desert, like I'm gonna be like, damn, dude was partying. Like, you know what I mean? But it's just like the aesthetic is different. I think
because he's got like if he were to go back into his human form and he's waking up in the desert, that man's got a flask at the ready to take a big swim.
I just feel like Norman Reedus is more gruff. Like I've already associated Keanu Reeves with being this like he is a monstrously good shot as.
But if he can play his role, if Norman Reedus can play like the similar role to what he did in The Walking Dead, because he plays that gruff character that drives a motorcycle. He plays exactly what I'm envisioning a Ghost Rider would be. Just he's a mortal man fighting zombies, but that's neither here nor there at this point. But I can see what you're getting at with that character.
Yeah, I'm just like I can imagine like the movie could just be like literally him going town to town, and he's just like he's just doing it because he has to, and he's kind of like I could see him because Ghost Rider is like part like a wanderer. Like he's always like his base of operations is literally his motorcycles. He's always just kind of traveling around everywhere. And so I gotta look at Norman Reedus as like I could see this man touring state to state all around the United States on a motorcycle and just bar hopping, catching hotels, and doing what needs to be done. But yeah, so moving on from Ghost Rider, do you have anybody else?
No, I think I'm pretty good on that unless you got another person that you want to...
It's just a throw out. I mean, it kind of ties in with the X-Men, but like
what you got?
Just proper like real Sentinels, like big 50-foot.
Oh, the real deal Sentinels.
Well, yeah, big 50-foot monsters who
be really cool. See, the thing is, if we can create a movie like Pacific Rim and have really nice looking mechs, they can do a Sentinel. And actually, as simplistic as they look from comic to animated series to whatever, they could do the simplistic look. If they don't want to go, if they want to jazz it up a bit and look more like a Transformer, then they're more than welcome to do that. But go back to the basics of the big giant robots.
I think if it was very Pacific Rim-esque, like they have tendrils that come out of their hands and stuff, and and they're like, you could do a lot of like the loose cabling under the neck. Well, they kind of have a neck, not really.
How gruesome,
like under the mouth and stuff. Like that just.
How gruesome that would look in a movie.
Oh, that'd be scary.
It would be terrifying. Think about this for a second. Think about how Final Destination does their a lot of the deaths. I know a lot of the deaths are very gory, and I'm not saying like we're gonna have a gory X-Men or nothing, but like, look how small and fragile a human being is in those movies when it's being paired against to like a roller coaster landing on them or some metal thing crushing them. Could you imagine them like grabbing mutants left and right, and you seeing the tendril, like this massive round tendril just like come in, wrap them up and take them away, or like one gripping one so tight that they get killed in the process, or one snapping their neck because of the whiplash from pulling them back. Like, it wouldn't be gruesome, it would just be like the impending overwhelming force that a Sentinel would have over, even if it's a mutant with powers, in the end you can still grip it unless they have the power to phase through or to burst out.
Yeah, I mean, oh dude, there's so many action set pieces that they could do with it, like if they had like a proper Colossus, and because Colossus is really good in the Deadpool movies actually. Yes. But yeah, they have like Colossus, they have like another Wolverine and stuff like that, like especially when they're just doing the, like, it could be super scary, like just how they just come and invade and like start just mobbing these mutants and shoving them in them, and like you said, like accidental kills, and just kind of throw them away or whatever, where they keep them for the genetic information and stuff, and like picking up the mutants who can defend themselves. Like, imagine picking up a Gambit would be really good to see on live screen too, actually. That'd be really dope. But yeah, like picking up a Gambit and he's like, oh no, like, and he like using his powers like sets the Sentinel hand to explode, or like Colossus getting inside of the Sentinel because he got captured and then going steel mode and just punching out of it and saving people. Wolverine just
clawing his way out.
Yeah. Everything.
Wolverine being Wolverine.
Wolverine, we need your help. He's like still stabbing like an already dead Sentinel or whatever. But just stuff like that. I mean, there's so many action set pieces they could lend themselves to, but they won't do it.
Well, by the way, I guess I had one last one, but it was gonna be like it's just an honorable mention because I thought it was funny. Because in my research, I was like, oh, that's really interesting because I didn't know there was a Marvel superhero named that. But I'm gonna throw out, I think, a girl named Spectrum.
If you don't know anything about her, just Google
I know
it because we know nothing.
I picked her. I know that she was once called Captain Marvel. She's a African American super heroine. I want to be politically correct on that.
Sure.
She's got like a black and yellow outfit. Looks a lot like Captain Marvel, but black and gold. Has the same type of powers, but I think she's got a cooler character development. I think she's got a better backstory than Captain Marvel herself. So I'm just saying, I'd be fine with learning more about her, and I'd be fine with seeing her as a movie to try to introduce her to people, just to kind of give notoriety to someone that's lesser known. Because who knows, maybe that may be the better Captain Marvel. Just saying. Than Brie Larson.
You know what I thought about? Squirrel Girl. I think she'd be hilarious for Disney.
Oh my god, yes. But let's put her with Kamala Khan.
Yeah, and I feel like you have the opportunity to get like a character who's like if you think about all of the Marvel superheroes are all in like great shape and blah blah blah. You can get like a normal bodied girl, like someone who enjoys her.
Who's thick.
But yeah, no, like you get someone who like she's not. She's like a normal average American who has weird squirrel powers. She likes eating donuts and junk food and eating she's just a normal person. She likes Taco Bell just like the rest of us, but she also has squirrel powers and tries to do the best.
You know what's the best thing about her though?
What?
It's my favorite thing about her.
I don't know that much about her.
I've read a little bit about her. She idolizes Tony Stark and Iron Man.
Well, alright, we can't do this anymore.
We are definitely doing this. We are gonna make Squirrel Girl.
Tony Stark's dead in this universe, so she can idolize nothing.
Well, she does. She idolizes a statue of him in one of the side comics because she's with Kamala Khan.
A statue or an action figure?
Statue.
Like a little
statue? No, a bronze statue that's sitting. I think it's either inside of a mall or outside of a shopping complex. Either way, it's there. It's really cool. And she talks about him often, saying, "Oh, he's so cool. It's so awesome." And I'm like, I like her already. And she's got squirrel powers, and I think that's really cool.
We already have one fangirl, Spider-Man, dealing with.
But she's not trying to be Iron Man. She's not trying to be the Iron Squirrel. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, so With that being said, I think that pretty much covers all of our superheroes. What are some of your guys' ideas on what heroes and villains should be in their own movies or even in their own shows in the upcoming Disney Plus? We want to hear from you, so add in the comments below if you're on YouTube, and I'll make a post on Twitter, and you'll see. We'll see if you guys got any ideas, and we'll probably say them. Well, not even probably. We'll talk about them in the next episode for sure. But now is the important part. I mean, that content was like what we had today. That was very important to us because we spent a little time getting those characters together and some of the ideas we had. But speaking of ideas, I mentioned in our hiatus video that we were going to broaden the spectrum, pun absolutely intended, on how to expand the broken spectrum even more so past our podcast. The idea is for me on my end, I'm going to do more quicker videos, so that way I know not everyone has time to listen to an hour 30-minute long video, and that's fine. No one's it is what it is, and not everyone's got that kind of time frame. With on my end, I'm going to start doing a little thing called Mental Shrapnel. It's going to be a little series on the side where I do reviews on comics that have just come out that I'm currently reading or I have read, video games, or even movies that me and Josh have seen recently. And sometimes Josh will be on them, but most of the time you're going to hear just mostly from me. Kind of like the Z rants, which I'm overdue for one. There's been a lot to rant about recently. On top of that, I'm also going to bring out Anna Mondays. So if everything goes well, hopefully, once everything is recorded properly, come Monday, probably not this Monday, but probably next Monday, is going to be an anime. Basically, Anna Mondays will be the anime reviews on new ones that I've seen recently. Cover some of the new stuff that's coming out, as well as cover some reviews of the older ones that me and Josh have watched over the years, and the ones that I've seen when I first started anime. So that's going to be a couple ideas, and do you have anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I think we're going to get into unboxing collectibles when we get them. That'd be super cool. Maybe some motorcycle videos, see what my day-to-day ride is like or whatever, my daily thoughts. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Nothing set in stone with my hectic work schedule, but I definitely do want to start throwing some stuff out there. I will be doing these shrapnel vids every once in a while when I can. And so, but just be on the lookout. I've been really lazy about my Instagram and stuff like that because there just really hasn't been anything going on super interesting in my life, except for this podcast. And so eventually we'll be rolling on that. So
a lot of good things coming your way. Definitely a lot. Like I said, it's all about not really the speed of these videos, but more or less the getting out quicker content and getting more content. So that way you're not waiting so long to see something from our channel. And I'm gonna get better about that as well. So we hope you all tune in. We hope you all check us out. Spread the news to your friends and family and all, whoever you might know that might be interested in this. And I'm Zach.
I'm Josh.
But wait, I'm almost messed up. We didn't include in.
We know.
Yeah, we almost didn't do it. Our biggest
contributor. He's an editor. He himself games relentlessly. He's a fantastic player. Loves Apex Legends. That's his current dig, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
He
does a lot for us when it comes to these videos, getting them ready and getting them set up and helping us with intros and exits and just everything for we'd be in a very tough spot without him. So a big, huge shout out to TCC Emerald on YouTube, who's been helping us from day one. Please go check him out. Guy's worth watching. I know he's got some new stuff coming your way as well. So definitely go check him out. Did I miss anything else?
No, I think we're good.
Fan-effing-tastic. All right, everyone. I'm Zach.
Run from the pigs! Run, those little pigs! I lost it.
You lost it. And that's Josh. Thanks for listening to the Broken Spectrum. See ya.